Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. We are here to discuss that game yesterday, Chelsea versus Leicester 1-1. Much to talk on about. We've got quite a bit of a very deep show today. We're going to start, obviously, with the talks around Rudiger, his statement that came out today on leaving the football club. That's where we're going to start off with, guys. And then from that, we will talk about the game. We're also going to talk about the different styles that we've played. I'm going to go a little bit deep into the formation, a little bit deep into the players. We're obviously getting close to the end of the season, so I want to kind of delve into. We're going to have that show. We're going to definitely have that show, the player rating show, on the season review. So we will be doing that season review player rating show next week at some point. So make sure you're in for that. We'll be getting a panel in for that where we give a rating per player based upon their season at the football club. We'll be doing that at some point next week. We've still got one more game left against Watford on Sunday, which definitely we will then look to do a preview and a match reaction to that. Straight after that, we'll go into it. But today's show, we'll start with Rudiger, the talks in and around Rudiger, and then we're going to move from that and talk about the game, talk more tactically and deep about the different types of formations that Thomas Tuchel has tried to implement. And part of the reason why I feel like I need to do this is because there's a lot of idiots on Twitter. Like for me, there's a lot of people on Twitter that I think it's very easy just to point a finger without actually understanding where Chelsea are, the process, and what Tuchel's been trying to do the last season. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be going through today, along with the player ratings as well, opening up the lines. But make sure that you're smashing the like button. Over 30 of you guys here. Big up to everyone that's in the chat today. But before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. Well, in London, or should say where I am in London, it's miserable as hell today. Yesterday was beautiful sunny weather. Today, it is the complete, absolute opposite. It is disgusting out there. Absolutely disgusting. But you know what? It doesn't stop me from streaming. I am moving into my house next Friday. Lots of shows to come up before the end of the season and after the end of the season, but even before I move in. So make sure you stay tuned with GNA TV. Make sure you're smashing the like buttons, guys. Let's get these likes up to 50 at least. Over nearly 40 of you here as well. So big up to everyone. Let's go through the chat and then we're going to start getting into it because there's a lot to talk today. A lot that I want to delve into. Not only, like I said, on Rudiger, but also the lineups and stuff like that. Pulisic's the worst number 10. Big up to RD. He says... It's the worst number 10. Won more CL Champions Leagues in round against Madrid's first leg, against second leg, then legendary Hazard number 10. RD, stop it. Don't do this. Don't compare him to Eden Hazard. You know what will happen if you do that. Let's not do that, bro. Big up to Sosa in the house as well. Yeah. Yeah, and part of the reason why we're going to be talking more today about that is because of stuff that I've been hearing on Twitter. Some really weird comments, man. Really weird comments about the manager, about the board. I get to a degree, but you know, a certain player agenda of players. Like it's weird. It's so weird. We're gonna get into it. Chelsea fan, big up to you. Ads, big up. AK, nice to see you in the house. Josh Thompson. Is that the Josh Thompson that supports Arsenal that's come back? Is it? Is that who that is? Is that who that is? You know, because when I'm reading stuff like this, that is definitely the Arsenal fan, the one that struggles to get the Champions League football. Yeah, is that the one we're talking to right now? Big up to Big Ron, Chelsea, the Kings player. Big up to you. Put it versus Kai stats. I don't know. This is what our stupid fan base does. They compare players in positions that don't actually that they don't actually play in. Like compare Havertz with Pulisic, but Pulisic plays off the left. Havertz predominantly played up front. And it's who's better? Who's the better? This is my agenda. I've got to make him better. That's what we do. It's about bigging up your own players all the time. Like I keep telling you this, and I've said it on Twitter. People follow me on social media. They'll see my comments. Get away from defending players that don't deserve to be defended. We're going to talk about the game yesterday. Yeah, some people think it was overall was a good game. I'm still not overly impressed. You know, I'm at the point where I'm signed off now. I'm at a point where I just want this to end. Now, end this season, get Todd Boehly announced, allow Thomas Tuchel to be backed, and let's just move forward. Like, let's just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? What are we saying here? Ollie Joe, big up to you. Erin, nice to see you in the house as well. Alex, my boy, make sure we check out the community, guys. Nearly 60 of you guys here. Make sure you check out the community. Big up to Hiking with Martin as well. Athan, what happened there? Disappeared. Athan, big up to you. PJ Artist, big up to you. Matty. Matty's had enough. He's a big agenda against Pulisic. He will probably be with me with one of the panel when we do the discussions on the player rating season end show, review show. So make sure you're ready for that next week. That is going to be a big, fiery show for sure. That will allow all the agendas, people that have agendas, to come out and back their players or moan about players that they don't like. That's going to be a funny show. Big up to Matthew. M3, big up to you. Pulisic, Jorginho, Alonso, Aspilicueta, Timo, Hakim, Sarr, barely Sal, Barkley, Sal out. That is quite a... I'd probably agree with most of that list. I don't think Pulisic's going anywhere. And I don't think... Well, maybe Timo and Hakim. I'm not sure if Hakim and Timo go at the same time. Big up to Matt Smith in the house. Rodrigo's in the house as well. Gary, nice to see you, man. Full of faith in the Gathers Transform Squad. Exactly. But not from what I feel on Twitter, Gary. Not from the shit that I'm seeing on Twitter. I'm in groups where we're seeing, comment. I'm not even going to call out the Twitter accounts. I'm not going to do that because that's not what I do. That's not my style. But what I will do is debunk the shit that I hear because it's really silly, stupid stuff. And some of it is just common sense. And a lot of it is just a very lazy thought process. It's a very lazy way of thinking. There's no real meaning behind the way they think. They just think it. Does that make sense? And that, for me, is just it's just weird. I find that very, very weird. We got Super Tommy Tuchel. Big up to Bex. Grey Wolf Steelers around. We were awful in the first half. Second half, much better, though. Our forwards could have finished them. Couldn't finish it in a... Oh God, I ain't going to say that last bit. Brothel, yeah. Georgie, nice to see you. Lee Bell in the house. Nice to see you, Bracy. Big up GNA TV. Big up Jem. Big up to the panel to come. Big up to Chels. Big up to Chels. Big up to everyone as well, man. Over 60 of you guys here. Make sure we smash your likes. Let's start on the news that come out today, though, because I want to get into the Chelsea need to, what does that say? Sell the attack and restart, Jem. Yeah, but AK, this is the thing, brother. We know that the forward line is inconsistent. We're going to talk about that a bit later on. We're going to go through tactical analysis today on all of the formations that Thomas Tuchel has played. All the formations that Thomas Tuchel has played this season. So there's going to be a really deep talk about why I'm doing this, to explain to people why and how I feel it's not worked this season and why it's not worked this season. Because it's very easy to point fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, him, manager. But we need to actually look at it overall and see where it's going wrong. And that's what I want to do today. That is exactly what I want to do today. Smash the likes, like Bex is saying as well. Come on, guys. I mean, 29 likes, nearly over 70 of you guys here. We could do better than that. We're better than that. This is the GNA TV community, the ever-growing community, the best community in the world, man. Come on. Let's keep going, guys. When I rode to 10K subscribers as well, which is massive, massive for this channel. Massive, massive, massive in such a short space of time. Haley has no words. Big up to Haley as well. Hope you're well today. Ray Allen, nice to see you. All right, let's get into it, yeah? Enough saying hellos to everyone, so I spent 9 minutes, didn't I? So hello, as I always do. Tanya Rudiger has came out and then pretty much released his statement on leaving the football. It's confirmed, basically. It's him just basically saying goodbye. Now, I ain't going to sit here and bore you to death. Not say bore you to death in a horrible way, but there's a lot of stuff said in this article. So if you do want to read it in your own time at a later stage, go and check out the Players Tribune and it will be on there. So you can actually read the in-depth conversations that he has. And I went through it briefly. He was talking about N'Golo Kante being such a happy character. Never seen anyone like it. He was talking about the final where him, Ziyech, Kante and that were praying the day before the final of the UEFA Champions League. And, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot that he goes into, but there was some deep statements that is worth highlighting. And rather than sit here going through this statement with you guys, which can take absolutely ages to do. I'm gonna get away from this, and I'm going to go into absolute Chelsea's Twitter comments, because what he's done is he's broken down the statements that Antonio Rudiger has come out with in that. So if you want to read the full article, go over to the Players Tribune. Here we're going to talk about just the main points, the main big points that is worth highlighting on. So in the article, Antonio Rudiger says that unfortunately my contract negotiations had already started to get difficult last fall. Business is business, but when you don't hear any news from the club from August to January, the situation becomes complicated. Now, let's start with this statement very quickly. Look, this highlights the style and the type of way that our board likes to negotiate deals with players. Not only players coming in, but players in contracts that are due to the end of their contracts. It's too slow. It's lethargic. Now, I get the whole thing of they're playing football, talking about it at this point from August to January is a busy period for the Premier League, for the football club. It was the beginning, So I get that. That's a thing. I get that with the board and whatever. What I don't get is how you can't spend one of the international breaks where we're not playing football, where the players ain't having to concentrate on what they're doing in training, by approaching his agent, sitting down with him and talking to him about the current understanding discussions, leaving him completely in the air, not knowing whether he's staying or not staying for nearly over 6 months, is absolutely disgusting. Now, I know a lot of fans feel that annoyed about it, and I did as well. Don't get me wrong. I still think it's very wrong in the way that we've dealt with it. But the only thing that I can think of, and I'm trying to give you both sides of the coin is, I've given you one side of it. From the board side of the coin, I'm trying to really understand why would they take this long. The only reason why I feel that they take this long is something that I've said to you guys for a very long time with most of these players. Consistency in their performances. Now, the problem we had, sod's law, was that Antonio Rudiger, on the back of Thomas Tuchel coming in, had just won a Champions League and looked very good through a short period. And let's remember, this is a short period. Prior to the Thomas Tuchel arrival, we were everywhere. Each performance from each player defensively was everywhere, including Antonio Rudiger. Has the board sat there and thought to themselves, do we need to hold back a bit and see how he progresses throughout the season? He's asking for a lot of money. It's going to tie him down to one big contract for another 4 or 5 years. He's going to reach at a later age, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they felt that they needed to see more from Antonio Rudiger through these months. Where it still is wrong, and I'm not sticking up for him, I'm just giving you both sides. Where it still feels wrong for me is that even by the time we got to December, that December period, you would have quite a good, idea of what you should be doing with Antonio Rudiger at this point. You don't have to wait 6 months to then not give a decision and then go into a sanctioning, which, we didn't know was going to happen, and now lose the guy on the free, which is what's happened. That is poor from the board. The negotiating, the progression, which was no progression, the phase of dealing with player contracts from this board was wrong. But like I said to you, the only thing I can think of as to why they delayed it is because they wasn't fully sure in him whether to give him that money on that big of a contract, whether he deserved that amount. Maybe. So I don't know. It's a really weird one. And it goes on to say next, it says, Antonio also says that after the first offer, there was a long gap of just nothing. We had we're not robots, You cannot wait for months with so much uncertainty about your future. I agree with him. We were all saying when we were listening to media comments and stuff that we feel that eventually the players are just going to have to make the decisions for the best of their future. They have families, they have a life, There's only so much you can wait around for when it comes to it. And from what I'm reading from Antonio Rudiger, it feels very like he's never really advised or guided or spoken with the board. Like it was very limited in the conversations. Why? What were they doing, our board? Where were their minds? Were they looking past him? Was he looking in the market thinking of what options they've got to replace him because of the money that was required from him? What was it? Obviously, no one saw the sanctions coming, but in the end, one other big club was showing interest, and I had to make my decisions. I will leave it at that because business aside, I have nothing too bad to say about this club. So basically, what he's saying to me is that he's not really happy with the board. That is what that tells me, because he's kind of keeping it very short and sweet. But he basically hit it on the dot and said, look, I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited. There's only so much that I can wait. I get offered something from a club that was a big club, which has given me a big package and a big sign-on fee, which we've already know he's getting as well. What's he going to do? Money does talk at the end of the day. You know, money does talk in these positions, and that is the annoying thing about the whole Antonio Rudiger scenario. You know, let me refresh this to see if there's anything else. There was some other bits. No. Oh, he said a lot of things. Believe it hell. He said a lot of things. Where are we? Marcos Alonso. I don't care about Marcos Alonso. He talks about obviously the abuse that he got from the football club as well, which I won't go into too much. But at the same time, he said that he did acknowledge it, but at the same time, he kind of looked past it because there was some goodness in it and stuff like that as well. So even though he had that scenario, he also had great times at Chelsea. He doesn't want that to be diminished from the moments that he had abuse from his fans, and he did get a lot of abuse from the fans. You know, he goes on to talk about the noise at the Bernabeu, which I don't really care. And then he says about the mentality at Chelsea, and then he says basically, I hope for this club that the mentality changes of sacking coaches. So early when success is not there, I like to trust the process, and with this coach, you can see there is a process. So he can clearly see that there's a way forward with Thomas Tuchel. We all know that ourselves, and this is why I get frustrated with these limited-minded Chelsea fans that look at Thomas Tuchel and go, "Nah, he's done. We got to get rid of him. We don't need him. Not good enough." Because that's what they do. They don't actually understand the process. They don't actually understand where we're at. They don't actually understand what Thomas Tuchel's inherited, and there's a lot of things that they don't want to acknowledge, which I find very weird. Antonio Rudiger on deciding future. I didn't want to wait until June to sort out my future because it's almost a year of uncertainty. Basically, Chelsea wanted to wait for him until the sanction dropped. The sanctions are probably going to drop this weekend. Yeah. He didn't want to wait this long to not have a decision made on where he was going with it. He makes a decision before that because the club hasn't probably given him any certainty, haven't told him, look, Todd Bowley, the board will give you this, this, and this. We can't give you it at the moment because of where we are. Like, they could have had that conversation with him. Like, and don't get me wrong, we don't know that side of it, if the board have actually had that. But from what he's saying, it just makes it look like it was just completely and utterly non-existent. Like, we didn't bother. Like, we wasn't interested. Like, we wasn't having these conversations. You would have to wait until June because you have a contender to take over the club. But today you cannot talk to him because you have to go through government stuff and everything. Basically, he's saying the new owner's there, but we can't talk to him because he's not been officially announced. We can't talk about contracts. There's no negotiation period. My decision came to this point, to be honest, in March. The sanctions was something nobody saw coming. It is easy to blame it on that. Too easy. He's basically saying, and there again, he's having a dig at the board, isn't he? Really, think about it. You know, he's having a big dig at the board. He's basically saying that the board could have done something before the sanctions, where through that August and January period, which he mentioned earlier on, which I showed you guys, but nothing came of it. And they left me in the dark. They didn't come to me and they didn't bother. Now they've forced me to make a decision because at the end of the day, this is my future. They haven't showed any real interest like they want to keep me. And that's it. Tuchel may have wanted to keep him and the players may have wanted him to stay. But ultimately, it falls on the board. It falls on the owners. It falls on the structure. It falls on that's a problem. That is a bit of an issue for me. The fact that we've let him go for free is still disgusting. It's still disgusting. I'm 29 and I decided to experience something new. Most important was to give everything to the club that was in my power. Some people will not be happy. I can fully understand it. He knows that people are going to point fingers at him and go, he's looking at money, this, that, and the other. He's not stupid. It's talking about it. I tell you, we don't all have the same mindset, and for some, maybe this uncertainty is not healthy, and it can do something with your performance. We tried our best in that period. We were winning our games, and it seemed like it wasn't in our heads. But we are all human. At some point, it will touch us, and I did. What is it? And it did. So let me read that again. So let me zoom into this because it is quite deep. I didn't actually see all this myself. This is the first time I'm reading it. We don't all have the same mindset, and for some, maybe this uncertainty is not healthy, and it can do something with your performance. We tried our best in that period. We were winning our games. I was talking about the sanctionings. It seems like it wasn't in our heads, but we are all human. Basically, he's saying that the sanctionings did affect them. It did affect them. Guys, I'm not reading the chat at the moment, so big up to everyone that's in the chat. Over 140 of you guys here. Make sure that we're smashing the likes. Let's get this to 100 likes, please. Subscribe if you're new. We're on a road to 6K subscribers. We will be talking about the game straight after this. We're going to be doing a little bit of a tactical breakdown as well of all the different systems that Tuchel has set up and why the real issue is not Thomas Tuchel. This is why I wanted to talk today. Why the real issue is not Thomas Tuchel. Why the issue sits around the players within the system. And that's something we're going to talk about as well. It's the uncertainty that kills you at the end of the day, not only for myself. I'm not a selfish person. It's about the fans, the club who work here, cleaners and chefs. Players would be fine. But what about them? They have families. He's talking about the sanctionings and whatever. In my situations, you're thinking, what is this? People expect us to deliver. And I understand that. I get the point. But every individual is different. So it basically, go and check out the Player Tribune page and watch that. Because this is what Alonso said. The manager wants, I'm there to play striker. Now we have great strikers. Try to arrive in positions. Technically, he's better finisher than all our forwards. That's what's so funny about Alonso. But there you go, all right? In terms of the Antonio Rudiger scenario, there it is. He made it very clear that Chelsea, as a football club, didn't approach him through the August period to the January period. He felt that was a very long time for them to have come to him, made a decision, actually spoke to him, brought him into the loop about where his future is at the club. The board went quiet. The board didn't bother with him. And ultimately, by March, he had to make the decision to basically go to Real Madrid because of the uncertainty that was around the club. Chelsea went into a sanctioning in and around March. Yeah, around March, I think it was. So, his thing is, it's very easy to blame the sanctionings as to why I've made my decision. But that's too easy. And when he says it's too easy, that pretty much tells me that it could have been sorted earlier. And I try and look at it from the board side because this is what I do. I always go from the board side to the player side, try and understand both elements of it. But the only thing that I can think of with the board side is that they weren't fully confident in giving him that big contract due to his performances. And when I say this, people go, what are you talking about? He won the Champions League with Tuchel. Short-term memory loss. Let's be serious. Before the Tuchel period, when Frank Lampard was here, when Richard Sarri was here, when he was brought in, he had a very good little bit period at there. And then he got injured, he came back, and the first season under Lampard and the second season under Lampard, he was shocking. He was not good. None of them were good. They were never at the standards that they needed to be. Now, maybe there was an uncertainty from the board aspect to look at it and go, we give him a 5-year contract for 230, 40, 50K a week. Is that a good idea? Is that really a good idea? I just don't think, and I'm not saying that's why they didn't do it. Maybe they just didn't want to give it to him whatsoever. Maybe they're looking past Antonio Rudiger at this stage. But when I try and think of their side of things, and then I switch it onto the Antonio Rudiger side of things, it just tells me that the Rudiger thing makes more sense. The ball thing, even with the whole thing of not being sure and being a little bit held back, doesn't make no sense to me. So I don't know. We're going to move from the Rudiger thing, but that is a worry. And when you think about going into the new Todd Boehly era, the style and the way that we deal with negotiations, the slowness, the last minutes, the money pinching, the everything we try and do to save money, which is what they ultimately do. It could be a problem in getting what we need to get done. We are in a rebuild. Thomas Tuchel has really said this. We are in this period where we need to rebuild this team. This team needs to be rebuilt from top to bottom, in my perspective, from the way I look at it. Todd Boehly's going to have to change this thought process of all of them. The recruitment, the head of recruitment, Scott McLaughlin, Marina specifically, in the way that she deals with negotiations. I think they're going to have to shift their mindsets. Really are. I hear that, Jen, but my thing is, if you trust Tuchel and this guy has been getting the most out of Rudiger, then you should back him. Tie him down to a new deal. I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have. I think we've not really bothered. But from what it sounds like, it seems like the Bulls let him down and let us down. They've not made the decisions early. And I'm trying to understand why they've not made that decision early. And the only thing I can think of is just the overall performance since he's been at the full club. It looked very good. It has looked very good for a short period. And even through this season, you could say he's been very good for Chelsea. He has. Since he's had that contract announcement, I think he's had a couple of blips. Not to say that he can't have bad games. He can. But, I don't know. It's a weird one. We should have kept him. It does push us back. It does, in many ways, make us have to worry about areas that we shouldn't have had to have worried about. Really. You lose experience completely with losing Rudiger. And that's what we've lost, guys. That's what we've lost. Let me just see what people are saying, because I've had things attached to me. What is this you're sending me? I have to read that, Hassan, in a bit, bro. People are sending me stuff as we speak. Yeah, we can quickly highlight that, Matty. Why not? Let's get away from that. So we're looking at, look, at the end of the day, Rudiger's going, and we've got to look forward. And when we look forward and we think about replacements, people that could potentially, imagine if 4 years having 32-year-old Rudy on 250k. Yeah, there's the flip side. I think people, there's two sides to the Rudiger thing, isn't there? Some people think we should have kept him. Some people think we shouldn't have kept him based on what he was asking in money. Cool. It's the preference thing. There's no right and wrong here, for me personally. But who's going to come in and replace him? Today, again, it keeps coming up. And Matti Moreto's come out with it, saying that Napoli want between 30 to 40 million euros for Koulibaly. This summer, Chelsea and Barcelona among the clubs interested. I've only heard Chelsea and Barcelona, two players coming in. Losing Rudiger, we need experience. Koulibaly at 31 years old, at 30 million euros. If we can do that, would be around 25 sterling, just a little bit more roughly. On a decent wage roll, is a win for Chelsea. A good 2 seasons out of him, maybe 3 if we're lucky. It covers that area. You can look to provide squad depth and maybe bring in some of the youngsters like Levi Colwill in around Thiago Silva and Koulibaly. There's some big names there, All right, they're on the older side. But we need experience. We need a balance. It's good having youth. I'm down for having youth, but the balance is key. In not only Tuchel being successful, but also players being able to progress. Because it's good to have games, because games brings you the experience. But having players around you with experience, mate, it does a lot. Trust me, it will bring a lot. They will learn so much from that, as well. Bro, you got Ben Shite. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I won't be excited until he's here. That's what Rodrigo's saying as well. What, 30 million euros? It's not sterling, it's euros. It's euros. Nobody knows, Mendy. he will feel hurt. Oh, yeah, he does. Goodbye, he does know. Why have we got such a negative mindset all the time? That's what I want to understand. As a fan base, we've always got such a negative mindset. We have. Such a negative mindset. Anyway, let's move away from that. I know we're not playing well at the moment. We're going to talk about the game in a second. One thing that did make me happy yesterday, and you can see the smile on his face, is seeing Thomas Tuchel with his own flag for the first, his own thing for the first time in the ground. That big image of him, he looked happy, you know. And look, there are a lot of people on Twitter. I say lot, actually. From what I've seen, a small minority of people, which is slowly growing, that feel that he ain't the manager. The reason why the players don't work is because of the manager. Have they forgot this bunch of players and how long some of them have been here and what we've seen with other managers? Do they forget this? You get rid of Thomas Tuchel, you're not getting anyone better. I'm telling you now. I'll tell you for free that we are not getting anyone better than Thomas Tuchel at this point. And to go into a new owner with a new project, with the new philosophy, with the new whatever, it makes sense to back the guy. Why would we not back him? Why would we not back him? And why would we not do that? And it's great. It's great to see him have that moment. Deserves it. He's been through so much this season. He has. The whole thing of the sanctionings, the whole thing of Lukaku documentary, the whole everything throughout this season. He has been the face of this football club. He's literally been the face of this football club. I didn't know dinosaurs roam the earth still. Clearly I'm wrong. There was one on my screen. You've got Arteta, mate. What are you getting excited? You've got Arteta for another 5 years, trying to fight to get you in Champions League, which you bottled. Josh, you're so bitter. Just leave and go and join it. What? Yeah, it's the Chelsea fan show. Why have we got Arsenal fans in here trying to be salty? There we go. FC this is Koulibaly's 30. Van Dijk is 30. There you go. Big up Andre in the house. Big up to Bex in the house as well. Yeah, that's true as well, Pyrex. That's you. Ram, you're doing the same thing. Stop trolling the chat. Stop trolling the chat. Stop asking me these questions. It's a very stupid question to choose Tuchel over Klopp when one's been here for 7 years and one's just been over a year and a half. Let's allow him the time to allow him to create his profile, his project. Let's allow him to move forward. Let's see what Thomas Tuchel can bring, and then we will compare the two managers. Because at the moment, 3 fucking trophies in a year and a half is not a bad thing, guys. Let's really deep that. Let's not be stupid. But I can't pick overall. That, again, still doesn't make sense to me. They want instant success, but they live in the... They still live in the Roman bubble. And I keep telling them this. You've got to move away from the Roman bubble. The Roman bubble is gone, man. The Roman bubble is gone. And we're going to slowly go into a quick little bit of stats for you guys. I will talk about yesterday's game, which is not much to talk about. Reece James has made 8 assists for Chelsea in the Premier League this season. The most by a player, 22 under in a single campaign for the Blues since Eden in 22. Listen, Reece James has been very good this season. He's had some bad games, but overall, what he's done, he's been very good. And it was a real big shame that we lost him for the period we did in such good form. And we overused him because we had so many players out. We've been forced to play in games over December. Ultimately led to us losing him because of that. I would have loved to have seen his stats throughout a whole season with limited injuries. He might have had a little niggle for a week or two here and there. That's fine. I think he's one goal assist behind Trent Alexander-Arnold, the greatest ever supposed creator in football history since football was created, apparently. He's only 1 goal assist away. That's what I'm sure. Sure, I was told this yesterday. Emerson James. What is going on today? Yeah, he is. Just ignore him, man. Just don't compare Tuchel in his first full set. I know, Bex, trust me. These guys, man. Listen, guys, over 175 of you here. Let's get these likes up, guys. I only got 51 likes, nearly 200 of you guys here. Let's get this up to 75 likes. We are going to go into the game. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to, unfortunately, we're going to go through the tactical side of it as well, in between. We've still got the player ratings to do as well for yesterday's performance, which it comes last. And then we're opening up the lines for the panel to come in and have their say. In terms of this game, Chelsea dominated again, 67% to their 32. Total shots, 20. Leicester, 2. 7 on target to their 1. 5 off target to their 1. 92% passing completion rate for Chelsea as well, with 50% tackles and a 57% aerial dual succession rate in this game as well. And when you asked me about this game, obviously Alonso got the goal, Maddison scored 6 minutes in. What did I feel? You see what I'm doing now? Stretching, half asleep. That's what I felt. Some people were happy with the performance yesterday, I saw on Twitter. Not me. I am fed up of seeing us dominate games by going sideways and backwards and very slow. We move the ball too slow. We look like we're not really there anymore. And ultimately, for me, I just want this season to end. I am done. I want to move forward. I want new players to come in. I want the Bowley era to begin. I want to know what that's going to involve. I want to see who's going to stay, who's going to fuck off. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to do a player review show. That's something we're going to do at a later stage. We're going to do a player season show where we break down the season review and we go through the players, giving them a rating, which will be next week. So make sure you're around for that one. That's going to be a big show as well. Did we play well yesterday? It was just a typical Chelsea performance. And that ain't in, it wasn't in a great way. It was a more of a what we've seen for the last couple of months. Don't move the ball quick enough, very slow. Don't, forward line look like they don't know each other. Yesterday, I put a comment out and I said, these players look like it looked like it's pre-season, that they've just literally started playing together. I'm not joking. It looked like these players had only just started playing with each other. Like that first game after pre-season where they start, that is what it felt like. And we're at the end of fucking season. Look, Alonso, thank you. Great goal. Technically, a better finisher than most of our forwards, but you need to go because everything else in your game is dead. I'm not even going to get into that. Yeah, we're going to go through the player ratings a bit. I'm going to save myself. But ultimately, I haven't got much to say. You're probably sitting there thinking to me, he's not saying much about the game. I haven't got much to say. I'm bored. I am utterly bored with repeating myself on the same thing. I'm boring you guys with it. So instead of doing that, yeah, but this is what I'm saying, Martin. How many times am I going to keep saying it on here? We're doing a big player a season review show next week on it, where we can talk about it more. But what I want to do on this show, and we'll do the player ratings and we'll talk about individual errors and that. We know we're individual error FC. But what I want to do in this show is understand, and we're going to go to it next, understand why these players are specifically, why are these players specifically struggling in all the different systems that we played. And that's what we're going to do next. Because too many people are sitting there blaming Tuchel. And I need to show people what Tuchel's been trying to do this season from a tactical standpoint. Let's get this to 100 likes, like Beck says as well, guys. We've only got, 56? Blimey hell, guys. Come on. Over 75 should be by now. Come on, let's close that gap, please. Over 154 of you guys watching at the moment. Let's get this to... This should be 75 likes. Should easily be 75 likes, guys. Come on, please. Get this up to 75 likes. As well. And ultimately, that's what we're going to go into next. Gem, it falls down to think Lukaku was back. He just turned up because Bowley came in. But did he really turn up since Bowley come in? Did he really? For you guys, did Bowley turn up since he's come in? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Depends what he's doing. If he is around, maybe. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Twitter's currently formulating a 10-page article on why the grass length at Stanford. Oh, fuck's sake, mate. Matty with his agendas as well. All right, let's move. I am going to go into a little tactical breakdown now. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need to... I need people to stay with me when I talk about this. I'm trying to open your eyes. And I'm not talking about the people that don't like Tuchel, because if you like Tuchel, then you're going to understand this pretty straightforward. What I'm going to say is pretty straightforward. But if you do not like Tuchel and you think Tuchel's the problem, then you need to watch this and we need to talk about this, right? So at the beginning of the season, when we started, right, we decided to go ahead still. Let me get some more in me, actually. 2 seconds. We decided to go into a 3-4-3 system. Now, ignore who was playing or what. I'm kind of targeting it around the system, and then I'm going to change some players as we go along, and you're going to see what I'm saying, right? So at the beginning of the season, Lukaku comes in. We're like, we've got that striker. We're going to score goals. Tuchel brings us straight in, plays him with Havertz and Mount. And Havertz, Mount, and Lukaku were our first three for the first couple games up to Liverpool, where, let's be serious, between the three of them, the amount of space they created and then the final pass decision, which fucked us up at the beginning of the season, is on them three. Like, could have stuck to this, could have held their positions, could have been, could have kicked on. But because of the lack of consistency from the performances, it forces Thomas Tuchel's hand. Yeah, it forces Thomas Tuchel's hand. So he decides to get rid of Lukaku. He decides to switch it up a bit. He leaves Lukaku in the team. He takes out Ziyech, Havertz, and he throws in Ziyech. Now, we then start watching Ziyech in the three. This is, bear in mind, Timo Werner wasn't seeing any games at this point as well. Pulisic was injured. Pretty sure he was injured. Yeah, he was injured. So he takes out Havertz and then he throws in Ziyech. And then Ziyech gets the opportunity to play and do what he needs to do throughout a period. Again, why I'm not changing the system is because we stuck to the 3-4-3. Right? And do you remember how many times in games I was sitting there telling you guys on these reaction shows? You can go back. Go through GNA TV and look at my reaction shows back in August, September, October. You could remember me moaning about Ziyech, saying he's a ghost, doesn't get involved, is even on the pitch. And then eventually it rubbed off on others. Lukaku had bagged a couple goals here and there, but ultimately wasn't really getting involved. The argument at that point was that we weren't creating enough for him, or we wasn't getting him more involved, or, whatever. So some people were looking at going, okay, fair enough. Let's see if that changes. Mason Mount pretty much held his position, but was switched with Havertz in certain games. And then it got to a point where it just wasn't working. Havertz, Ziyech, Lukaku. Werner comes in, Havertz / Werner / Ziyech or Mount with Lukaku up front didn't work. And then it got to the point where we then went Havertz up front, yeah. And this is where Lukaku and Werner got injured, if you remember. I can't get rid of it. We went Havertz, Werner got injured, and that was at the home game in the Champions League. This is when we played Werner, Lukaku, and Mount, I think it was, together, and it was a switch. Right, and what I'm trying to get to is at this point at the moment is the amount of times we're switching these front three, and I'm concentrating on the front three at the moment. All right, then we decided to play Havertz, Cho, and Mount through the December that period where Werner and Lukaku were injured, and it brought us 27 goals over 8 or 9 games. And Havertz didn't really score many goals, and the argument then for the Chelsea fan base was, oh, Havertz is not doing, he's not getting involved enough. He's useless. He doesn't score enough goals. He's not clinical. Cho was in and out, good performances. That was his best period at that point. Mason Mount has scored a hat-trick against Norwich and was in and out of form as well, struggling. These boys were just not... What I'm trying to get is, in the free system, it just wasn't working. We couldn't get Havertz. There was moments where Havertz and Mount had good games, You know, there was a moment where Ziyech came in. I remember Ziyech coming in against Newcastle, and we played like this because it was between Ziyech, Cho, Havertz, and Mount. And then Tuchel's sitting there going, right. So at the beginning of the season, I've tried Mount, Havertz, Lukaku. Werner sometimes in there with Lukaku with Mount. Then Ziyech, because I took Havertz off because he was being inconsistent. He ghosted, so I had to take him back out. Yeah. And it's slowly Pulisic starts coming back, but he's not 100%, and he's sort of in and out. Then we decide to put Pulisic up front because we're thinking to ourselves, you know, we ain't got no Lukaku. Havertz is being overplayed. We'll just throw Pulisic as a number 9. And we'll play Mount behind him with whoever. I can't even remember. I'm just kind of thinking it at the moment. I'm just trying to give you some. The guy has had to reshuffle his pack so many times. And this was before we even got to system change. And then eventually, Lukaku comes back. Werner comes back. Pulisic's slowly getting fit. Yeah, play him as a number 9. It don't work. And then he decides to change it. And he does this. So he puts Silva, Rudy, I think Aspie / James. I can't remember at the time. / James. Yeah. And then he decides to play Saar. So he's now decided to switch the system, and he plays Cover or J5 and Kante, and then you have a 2, and then you have a 2. So then he goes into trying this. And this is what everyone thought Thomas Tuchel was looking to do. This was Thomas Tuchel's, you know, real philosophy moving forward. This is what the fans wanted to see, all right? So we played Cover in J5 or Kante or whatever, or Ruben. I'm not, you know, just leaving them there at the moment because I'm not concentrating on this area. I'm talking about these 4. Then we decided to play Ziyech there, Lukaku up front, Lukaku, and then either here it would be Werner or Havertz. But we decided to switch it up and try and have that extra offensive player on the pitch. And part of why he done that was to just score more goals. You know, we were defending at that point not as solid as we did, you know, in the Champions League prior to this. And he switches into a 4. And all of a sudden, you start seeing that the ghost himself, Ziyech, who was very poor, starts looking more better because he's holding his positions here. You've got people overlapping in positions, not Saar, because he was more of the guy chilling here. People overlapping over here. Yeah, and Ziyech automatically looked more comfortable, more involved, became more important in the game. But it affected the game of the others around him. Now, we switched to the other part of the reason why we switched to the 2 was because Romelu Lukaku was supposedly going to be better with someone close to him. So why Tuchel's done this 4 system, 4-2, whatever, is to get the best out of him, having another offensive player close to him, you know, mounting and around here, Werner and Havertz, whoever playing close to him, you know, basically alleviating the pressure from him in many ways. All right? Nothing happened. The only one that benefited in that 4 system from the forward line, talking about, forget what happened in the other pitch because we were inconsistent, because the forward line had so many chances they weren't finishing that we ended up conceding goals through the back 4 or even the back 3. But then the back 4 I'm talking about now is because the forward line were just not finishing the chances we created. We were going through games where we were creating 20 plus shots and, you know, not, you know, only scoring 1 or not scoring 1 or drawing games. We drew 8 games in that December period, all the way to January before we played Man City. We played the 4, right? Ziyech benefited from it and he looked okay. But Werner and Havertz looked absolutely shit in it because they were too close to him. They kind of just got in each other's way. He didn't look any better for me personally. Yeah. Mason Mount, who you would think would look better playing in that 8 role, didn't look better for me. He was dipping out of form as well. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, what's Thomas Tuchel got to do at this point? How is he going to get the best out of this forward line? We've seen the 3. He's gone to a 4. And then he goes and switches it again. And he's like, do you know what? I'm going to do something different. So what does he do? He plays a 4-2-1-2. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. Sorry. 4, 3. No, what did he do? Why have I gone brain dead? 4, 2, 3, 1. He went to, sorry. Then he kind of went. Oh, he did do the 4, 2, 3, 1. Why can I not remember when he had Werner up front? He had the 4, he had the 2 behind, and then he had 3 in midfield, right? Why have I gone brain dead here? Anyway, all I remember is that Havertz was playing here. He takes Lukaku out. He puts Werner up top. He puts Mount there. He puts Havertz there, and then cover in J5. And I can't remember what we did. Did we have the 4 at the back? We did have 4. Am I missing something here? That's it. 4-1-4-1. That's it. It was something like that. 4-1. It wasn't a 4-1-4-1. It was more. Yeah, it was like this. Yeah, 4-1-4-1. I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, 4-1-4-1. I think, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know when Werner played up front, and then you had Havertz and Mount behind. So anyway, he'd done that, and all right, take Ziyech out because it wasn't Ziyech, was it? It was someone else. Can't remember. Anyway. And yeah, so he plays this, and he plays Mount, Werner, Havertz as the thing, and Werner becomes the lead, and automatically Werner starts looking better. He starts scoring more goals. He's more involved. But the issue with the system at this point was that Kai Havertz, who was doing so much better as the leading point, then became non-existent. Mason Mount looked good in parts of this system, and it worked. Don't get me wrong, but ultimately, it didn't work. And there was one point where we pushed Havertz a bit closer to Werner. And then it was a 4-2-2-2, but sometimes it just switched into, like you said, a 4-1 with 2 there. That's better. Like that sort of thing. Whether it was Ruben or Kante, I can't remember. You know, it was something of that sort of mold. So my point is this, guys. What I'm trying to get you is, and I'm talking about the forward line here. Can't spell today. I generally can't spell. He has tried, ultimately, how many different styles of formations? He's tried the 4-2-2-2, the 3-4-3, the 4-1-4-1, the 4-2-3-1 sometimes. He's tried 4 or 5 different formations. But the real big issue throughout this season of trying that many formations as to why it's not working is the personnel. And the issue with the personnel, and I'm going to put them all on here now. I'm going to put him there, Havertz there, Mount there. The issue with the personnel Who else have I not put in here? Lukaku, yeah. The issue with these lot, I'm talking about these lot. The issue with these boys, give me him as well. I've got Pulisic. You're probably thinking, why has Jim got so many attackers on the pitch right now? We've never played like this. The issue with these 6, ultimately, and hence why Tuchel's not given, he's tried to give some sort of consistency with them. Yeah, but has been let down. And ultimately, I keep saying the word let down because he has been let down. The reason why it hasn't worked is not because of Thomas Tuchel, because he's tried 3, 4, 5 different systems. Ultimately, what's let him down is these individual players that we're looking at right now. Some people will say, why is Mason Mount in it? Yeah, all right, maybe with Mason Mount. His outputs are very good, but his form's still not there. He's not looking great on the eye still. Still important. I'm not saying that he needs to go, but he is a part of that forward line. And whether we play a 4, whether we play a 3, whether we play fucking 5 of them on the pitch, the issue is, and why is it's not working, is a simple answer for you. They're too different. North, south, east, west. They're too different. I even put Cho in there. That's without Cho because he's been in and out of the system. He's been in and out and injured with injuries. They're too different. They're too niche in fitting in one single system. I showed you that Ziyech works in the 4, but hasn't been great in the 3. Yesterday, he didn't do too bad, actually, in the 3, but he still wasn't amazing in it. All right? Kai Havertz, better in the 3, i.e. maybe leading the 3, but switch him into a 4 doesn't work. Christian Pulisic should be better in the 3, playing off the left, has had some good games, but again, doesn't work. Mason Mount plays. Some games he's been non-existent. Other games he's been the difference. Ultimately, he's still got double digits. Lukaku, do you want me to really get started on that? We've tried him in a 3. We've tried him in a 4. We've tried everything we possibly can to try and get him more involved. Hasn't worked. Timo Werner, very narrow in his own game. Only suits and fits in a certain system. The real big issue with all of these 6 players, and throw Cho in there if you want as well, is there's no chemistry, and they're very limited in their own game. They can only fit one certain style of playing, and that doesn't always mean that you're going to get the best out of them. Because why? Because they are inconsistent. Yeah, that is a problem. Too many of them do not work together. It doesn't matter how many times you switch them, either in a 4 or a 3, they act like they've never played with each other. The chemistry stinks. Havertz and Mount, in moments of chemistry, have been great, and they look the only two that really look like they have an understanding when they're both on the pitch together, for me, personally. The rest of them have no chemistry with each other. Some people say Ziyech's better with Lukaku. Really? How better? Some people say Pulisic's better with Havertz and Mount. Should be, but it's too inconsistent. Still doesn't really get involved. We see Pulisic, Lukaku and Mount in the final against Liverpool. Another one that we haven't seen for a while. That combination didn't really look that great. Done okay, but it wasn't overall great. We lack a serious chemistry mix. And all 6 of these players, including Cho, are limited in the way that they play the game. Yeah, too limited to the point that it doesn't matter who you throw in to play as your 3 or 4 in the team. They look like they've never played with each other. Because always one benefits from that system, the other 2 maybe don't. And we switch the system, one benefits from the system or 2, and the other ones around them don't. They can't adapt themselves to these different systems that Tuchel's trying to get them to play, or trying to find the tune, trying to get the best out of them. That's an issue. And that's why the forward line needs to be addressed. Because some of these players are on serious money and we're not getting anything from them. Timo Werner is limited in his game. When you play him, you have to play him here. He has to have the freedom to be able to do this in games. Make runs off rights and lefts, come deep, link play, and go. But he needs the space to do it. Anything else, if you ask him to sit there, he is not going to do anything. He limits him completely because all you ask him to do is that. And when someone like him has speed and movement, they should be able to get around the pitch, yeah, and he's been asked to do that. There's no point of him being on the pitch because he's technically not good enough to do the dribbling ability and get across and make. Yes, he's assisted a couple here and there, but it's not his game. He's very limited in his game. And that's why we've ultimately not seen the best of Timo Werner. Problem number 1. Problem number 2, lamppost. Told us all that he can adapt to different games. can't adapt to different games. Because, again, he's deceived us. And I'm sorry, he did. He came in at the beginning of the season, gave it all the big un. I can adapt my game, this, that, and the other. Does a documentary. Says that it's because we're not playing to his strengths. But have played 4 treble twos, 4-2, 4-1s, 4-1s, 3-4-3s. Played all different systems, which he's been involved in. Yeah. And we don't get anything from him. It doesn't even work. Doesn't even try. He comes to most games, he's not even bothered with his minor 15 touches throughout a whole game. Yeah, he's a goal scorer. But the problem with Romelu Lukaku is that you always have to defend. To get the best out of Lukaku, you have to defend, win the ball, and break quick. Counter. We are not that. We are a ball possession team to the point where we don't even move the ball quick enough. But we don't move the ball quick enough. Again, why he doesn't work is because he doesn't suit our system. He doesn't suit any of them. He doesn't have any chemistry with any of these players. Problem. And he's not doing what he's good at. Scoring goals. 14, 15 goals is poor for someone that's just come from Inter Milan and scored how many? And's already played in the Premier League. Not good enough. Him, Werner, same problem. Right? See you later. I don't care. Ziyech. Very easy for me. I'm not too sure his style of football and the amount of time that he needs on the ball to be effective works for him in the Premier League. In a 3, he doesn't look good. Yesterday he looked okay, but still wasn't great. In a 4, he thrives. But playing in a 4 means that lots of other people end up suffering, accommodated all the time. You have to accommodate, again, your style of play to get the best out of him. He's not versatile enough to accommodate himself into different systems with his ability. Because his ability is limited to a certain style of play. Same problem with Ziyech. There you go. All right. So Werner, Lukaku, Ziyech, I've explained to you. Christian Pulisic. What annoys me with him the most is he always seems to get the best chances, but can't finish. And I thought he was our best finisher out of all of these guys, barring Lukaku. Even now, I thought he's probably better than Lukaku at finishing. But he don't take his chances. He is so inconsistent. He is better in a 3 off the left. Yeah. He should never be played as a false 9. He should never have been played as a wing back. He should never be played. He should be able to play in a 4. But why doesn't he work? Because he has no chemistry with these boys here that are sitting down here. These 3. All right. They don't work. They look like kids in a playground that have just met each other and shook each other's hand and decided to just play football for a couple of hours. It don't work. There is no... It doesn't matter what Thomas Tuchel does. All these players are all narrow in their own games. They're not getting the best out of each other because they don't complement each other. They do not complement each other whatsoever. And that is what it is with Christian Pulisic, along with his lack of consistency, like these guys sitting here at the moment, all inconsistent because the system don't suit them. Kai Havertz needs to improve his consistency. At the beginning of the season, he goes missing. His form is not good enough. He is better in a 3. Yeah, ultimately, some people think he's better as a false 9. Some others don't. I think he can play with someone else up front, but it's got to have the right chemistry with that person. He can't do it with Lukaku because him and Lukaku don't have that. They don't work for some weird reason. We've seen it. They're not pathological with each other. They don't work for each other. They don't link well enough for each other. They're not on the same wavelengths as each other. Ultimately, ends up affecting him as well. And to be honest, he has been inconsistent. He had a very good part of the season where we relied on him and he showed how good he can potentially become. And out of all of them, he will stay. But he's on bided time himself. He needs to start, taking his chances, scoring these goals, being more important, more influential in games. Yeah. But, again, part and parcel of the issue, he doesn't have any chemistry with any of these 4 sitting below him here. These 4. Here. They have no link. It doesn't work. I don't know why. It don't work. But this is a player thing now. People were saying it's a system thing, that is Tuchel, that he's not getting the best out of these players. It doesn't matter what fucking system we play. 1 or 2 players or 3 end up suffering because they can't adapt themselves to it, because they are very limited in their ability. They can only do a certain thing. And that ultimately goes back to the board. Brought all these players in, Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner, Lukaku, Havertz, and they're all chalk and cheese. They haven't got the Sadio Mane, Salah combination. They just don't work. Just don't work. You know, and that's without Mason Mount. And I ain't really got much to say with him. Same problem. You know, goes missing in games, doesn't build up any chemistry other than with Havertz. Him and Havertz have the best chemistry. But then again, still very inconsistent with his form in games. Why? Because ultimately, again, everyone in front of him or around him are just not on the same wavelength. A lot of the times. They are very chalk and cheese. And that's why all of these players that I have got lined up here is not ever going to work in this Tuchel system. And why Tuchel has said, we need a rebuild structure. We need a rebuild phase. We need to ultimately at least have 2 of these guys go. And I will be looking to bring at least 2 forwards in, minimum. Whether we're going to do that in this summer transfer window, I don't know. But ultimately, Werner and Lukaku, one of them 2 will go. I think. One of them 2 will leave. But who would it be? You know, either or both maybe. Some people think both will go. But I don't think that's the case. I think Havertz and Mount will stay. I think Pulisic is not going nowhere because of Todd Bowley and the American marketing side of things. I think Hakim Ziyech is in between. Some people say he's going to stay. He probably will. If he goes, I wouldn't care. But if these 3 left and we only have 3 forwards, then we're going to need, along with Cho as well, we're going to need at least 2, maybe minimum 3 guys in there. Good guys that are adaptable with the current players that we have and fit Thomas Tuchel's style of play. Until we do this, we're never going to move forward. And the board has to get this summer signings bang on. We have to get it right. If Thomas Tuchel says, I want Dembele, Tchouaméni and Rafinha because they will fit my style of football, go and get him in. Don't fucking give him some complete opposite to that and say, well, actually, you know, we can't get him, but we've got someone that maybe might be closer to that. Or have you got any other ideas? Go and back the manager. Go and back the manager. You know, Ziyech may stay. We have 4. We could lose Werner, Lukaku. Pulisic may go. I'd be shocked if he did, but I still think he'll be there. We might lose 2. I don't know. But ultimately, guys, my whole point is that it is very easy to point fingers at Thomas Tuchel. It's very easy to say it's his fault without actually understanding what we've seen this season. And what we've seen this season, ultimately, is a lack of inconsistency and a lack of chemistry, even though he's tried to play certain players through longer periods between these players. And they are not showing us that they can suit and adapt and work in any of these systems. It is very simple for me. You buy players that fit the profile. Yeah, all right, I even spoke about the midfield or the defence or any of them. You know, I haven't spoken about any of that. I just concentrated on the forward line. Because a lot of the agendas that we have at our fan base is for some of these forwards. And I don't get it. Yeah, but exactly. But ultimately, what I'm saying to you guys is that it don't. You're never going to get that chemistry. You're never going to get that what we want, that like beautiful football play, if they just their abilities are too north and south. You need to have people with different abilities, but the chemistry, the connection, the understanding. Oh, Havertz has got the ball. I know that if he goes in that, runs into that position, I'll get there and he'll look up there and I'll be there. It's the understanding. Ziyech's got the ball. I know he's got wonder of a left foot. I'm running. You know, he's going to pass me that because this is what we do in training. Bang. Pulisic's got the ball. His dribbling ability is great. He's going to run at these players. He's going to pull him away. And when that space opens up, I'm going to run in it and he's going to find me because I know he knows I'm going to be there. He knows that I am going to be in that position. They don't have that. It is poor. Like they're very limited. And that's what I'm trying to get to you guys. Like, I had to explain that to you guys. I needed to. I know it took a little bit long with the formations and that, and I tried, but ultimately, it's the reason I tried to show you that all the different systems we played and all the different lineups we played with the different players within them, all the different types of players that have been played with each other, Pulisic, Havertz, Mount, but whatever, and it's still not working, tells me that it's a player chemistry issue and an inconsistency from our forwards, and that their abilities are very limited and that they're too far from each other when it comes to being on a pitch and connecting and understanding each other and doing things. Yeah, I'm not saying he'll go. I'm just using. But Jem, the problem is defensive. Oluwasi, I even got to the defense. I even got to the midfield. There is problems there, but ultimately, why we have lost games this season is on our forward line. The amount of times we've drew games because of the lack of taking chances. Yeah, the lack of build-up play, the lack of understanding each other, the lack of Liverpool-style football, Man City forward line style football. Move the ball quick, 1-2, know where each other are. Like look at the way De Bruyne plays balls into the forward lines to certain players. He knows they're going to be there. And it's always like that. But we ain't. Our forward line, they look like the one's over that side, the other one's over that side. The one up front's just walking, There's no chemistry. I feel sorry for Tuchel. I do. I feel sorry that he's had to deal with them for this long. And ultimately, all it's done is shown all that weaving, all of that cotton wooling, all of that, what's the word? All of that, what's been hidden. All of that, like, he's made it look very cushiony and everything's okay. I can't remember the word. My brain's gone funny. But, where he's made things look, he's papered over the cracks. That's it. Thank you. He's papered over the cracks of this football team, of this squad, and made it ultimately look very good. And it's worked. But I've always said to you guys, is it sustainable? I don't think it would have been, unfortunately. And it hasn't. Because more and more I watch players play, the more and more rotation I saw of the forward line, the more and more different styles and systems he tried to do to bring it in, the more and more we just look the same, and sometimes utterly even worse. We brought in Lukaku to be better. We went backwards. We might as well have not brought him in. Tells me that there's a big issue with that forward line. They do not work together, and it doesn't. Anyway, big up to everyone in the chat. Over 190 of you guys here. We even got into the player ratings, which we're going to do now. Anyway, let's get into the player ratings for yesterday's game. But ultimately, I wanted to just break that down to you guys. We're going to do a player season review show after Sunday. So make sure that you guys are around for that one. Make sure you're on Gem. The 7-0 we got Norwich, I saw a lineup and almost the answer to our first 11. Then having to accommodate Lukaku has ruined the blueprint. Tuchel suffers massively, mate. He suffers not only from Lukaku, he suffers from some of the others as well. Right, guys, let's get your predictions in. Let's get your ratings in for yesterday's game. We will open up the line straight after this. Let's fly through this lineup. Let's fly through these ratings, But make sure we smash in the like buttons. If we've got this over 100 likes yet, 79 likes, guys. Come on, 20 likes away. Let's get them likes up. Please. Yeah, let's get these likes up. Mendy 7 is what we've got here. What? You talk about direct play by Kevin. Then... No, you're confused. What I'm saying is, with Kevin De Bruyne, the pathological understanding that he has with the forwards, of knowing where they are when they're making runs is what you call chemistry. That's what I'm talking about, CFC Blues. You might have just got mixed up with what I was trying to say. That is what I'm talking about. It's the understanding of the forward line with him. We don't have that, is what I am saying. So yeah, if you wasn't unsure, there you go. I've clarified it for you. Mendy 7. Join the community, guys. Please do that. 7. Look, I'm going to squash this very quickly. Anyone that says that that Mendy should have saved that goal is stupid. That was a very good finish. Ultimately, that goal shouldn't have happened fucking 10 seconds ago. when the ball got played over the top and Alonso was just marking air, yeah, which I don't know what he was doing. I don't get where he was and what he was doing, yeah. And then the ball finds itself to Maddison, who cuts in on his right. Thiago Silva was pretty much limping most of that game, even though I thought he had a good game again. He's just been awesome, yeah. And then he places one, he bends one around the defender and swerves it into the near post. Let's not do that. Let's not do this right now. Let's not be idiots. Like some of the things I've seen on Twitter, I read some donut reading saying out that Mendy's one of the worst goalies in the Premier League. It's a Chelsea fan. I don't get it. I don't get these agendas. He was walking, bro. I want to give him a 6.5. That's it. I ain't got much to say. Rudiger. $6.5. Big up to Dexter, bro. Hope you're well. Rudiger's a 6.5 for me. I don't really know much to say, really. Tried to run forward with the ball cut times, whatever. 6.5. I ain't got much to say when it comes to Rudiger. Like, he's going. It is what it is. Thiago Silva was our most creative player in the game, was asked to come forward into midfield and try and find passes into people who are not making runs. Ultimately, he decided to do ping balls to the left and right, which he's very good at doing. He is very good with the ball at his feet. Very good with the ball at his feet. Even at his age. 7 for Thiago Silva. Easy answer for me. 7s all day for the El Monstro, the player of the season by far. 7, not even 7.5 for me. Chalobah, 7. We had a good game again. I like Chalobah. I think he's a good player. I think we need to be a bit patient with him. I think we need to understand that this is his first season at Chelsea in the first team. You know, the more and more each season he plays, the more and more he may become a better player. And ultimately, he hasn't cost us diddly squat. So, for me, 7 as well. He had a good game. Chalobah had a very good game, actually. Done his bit. Well done, Chalobah. Alonso, shocking defending. Ultimately scored that goal. Ultimately, sometimes I think we should just play. I'm not joking. Against Watford, just play him up front. Just leave him up front. Technically, and just get the balls into him, headers, shots. Because technically, he's better than all of our forward line at shooting, which is very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. 5, because his overall game is just shit. I can't do it anymore. Some people would give 6.5, 6.5, 1, 6.5, 6. I'm saying 5, man. I'm saying 5. I can't give him these. I can't. 5. Can't. Yeah, he scored the goal. Good finish. But 5. Yeah, exactly. Shit defending. It's just overall poo, man. Reece James played as a forward later in the game. He was a left-sided forward at one point. This guy is so versatile. It's ridiculous. Literally ridiculous. 6 for Reece James for me. 6. Again, wasn't amazing, but still not bad. Just Reece James' performance. 8. Right, you guys rate him highly. Your man of the match, I've gone for a 6. I ain't got no man of the matches in this game, to be honest. 7.5, 8, 7.5, 6. Yeah, listen, 6.5 then. 6.5. I just think he sometimes goes back too much when I want him to go forward. Maybe because he's done as well. He can't be asked. I don't know. But, he had a good game. Don't get me wrong. 6.5. I am a 6.5. I ain't got much more to say. Jorginho. 6.5 as well. He did play well, but ultimately, it wasn't a good game for me. I didn't enjoy that game. It's not a thing of like where 8 is like someone that's created a couple goals and whatever. Like he's had that wasn't a typical. Like it was a good James performance, but it wasn't like an outstanding James performance. You know what I mean? 6.5 for me. 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, 7. 6. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 6.5 as well. 6.5. Kante, 6. Maybe. 6. Kante was a 6. Some people say 6.5, 7, 5, 7, 4. I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think he is himself personally. I think he needs. I actually genuinely think he needs this to end. Like this season needs to end. I think a lot of these players need a break. 60 plus games is a lot of games. 6, 5.5. I don't think it was a 4. I never say he's a 4. You know, he just isn't himself. The problem is he just isn't himself. People always expect Kante to be a 9. But even when he's not a 9, and he's had some worse games this season, I feel. I would say it was a 6 or a 5, one of the two. Yeah. Let's move. Pulisic had the best chance of the game to finish. Had no chemistry with Ziyech and Lukaku. Ultimately, ran around like a headless chicken. Don't know really what much more to say about him. 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3. I don't know. At this point, 0 is what Matty's saying. Fuck me. 5.5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4 or a 3. Ziyech, 6.5, was the best out of a bad bunch for me. Done okay, but again, still not enough for me. 6.5. 6.5, yeah. 6.5 for me. Ziyech was a 6. 5. Yeah, I don't think Ziyech was too bad, to be fair. He was better than a bad bunch. 6. Maybe a 6, yeah. 4, 6.5, 0.5, 7, 6.5, 6. Fair enough. You can see I'm just flying through this. I've really finished. I've signed off, guys. I've signed off for this season. Oh, as soon as I give this rating, I don't like him. 1, 2. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. 26 touches in the whole game in 77 minutes. 1 shot off target. That was it. He had all game. 26 touches, 1 shot off target. And we had 19 shots. We had 19 overall shots with 7 on target, and 1. He only had 1 of them, which were off target the whole game. He could have had an assist if Pulisic would have scored. But other than that, I'm done. I don't need to see any more of this guy this season. I have nothing more to say. Words don't explain what Lukaku is for me anymore. Like, I laugh. I have to laugh when it comes to Romelu Lukaku. 1s, 3s, 3.5s. Just end the season now. I don't care about squad rating. 6, 4. I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. 1. I don't care whatever you give him. The link's in the chat. If you want to come in and have your say, quickly do so. Guys, we're 15 likes away from 100. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that now. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. Let's get these likes up, guys. Let's get these likes up if we can. 200 likes. And then we've still got this weekend to bring to you guys. We've still got the match preview for Watford. We've still got the rating show for that. And then we've got the end of season show. The end of season show will be back as well. Rodrigo, how you doing?
Oh, good, man. Yeah, it was a dead game, to be fair. I think Lukaku played all right. I would give him a 3, maybe. He had that one good flick on.
He played all right, but you give him a 3. Fuck you know.
I mean, for Lukaku, yeah, that's...
Is that how bad it's getting? Let me know, mate.
Yeah, man. He need to go, man. For his own sake, for his own career. Just hand in a transfer request. Just go to PSG. Go live your life. Man, it's not working. Yeah.
What do you think about the overall game?
I think the overall game. I thought obviously first half a bit too slow on the ball. We had so much possession. We just weren't moving the ball quick enough. But second half we picked up a bit, and yeah, we should have won the game. I mean, this game is a carbon copy of the Everton game in around December when we drew 1-0. We completely dominate the game. We score first in this game, for instance. We win the game. There's no way. Oh, the Everton game again, we did score first, but that's stupid defensive error. One thing I want to touch on though is our home form. You don't expect to challenge or to win a title if you don't sort out your home form. If we turn some of the draws that we've had into wins, we have a good shot at the Premier League title. It's just that we just have to figure out a way to play at home at a higher tempo. We have this mentality when we play at home. We just start slow, passing around. We're not quick enough, and teams set in these low blocks, and we just don't break them down. Or sometimes we need to maybe allow the other team to also have the ball to suck them in and then hit them hard. But then again, we don't have the clinical play like you. I agree with your analysis on the formation and the players. We don't have those clinical players or players that have understanding, because you need that when you have low blocks. It's about quick movement, understanding what you're gonna be. Yeah, it's a home form, man. I can't believe Stamford Bridge used to be a fortress, man. What happened, bro?
It died an unfortunate battle. That's what we say on that one.
Polari, I blame.
We just need a new. Look, the Todd Bowley era is coming. Let's get on with it. Let's get players out. Let's bring it in. Let's just go.
Boyley's a jinx, man. Boyley's a jinx, bro. Someone need to tell him to stop coming to games.
No, he has to come to game. We need to start. Listen, he's not the jinx. I'm actually glad. I know it sounds really bad.
I'm glad.
I'm glad he's actually seeing this.
Yeah.
Because now he can see what shit we've been putting up with the whole season. Yeah. He can see what's man's going on. Saying
people around him that just tell him, "Oh no, the team is great." No, I hope people actually telling him like, "Listen, to challenge City and Liverpool, you need to open the wallet." Yeah. Anyways.
I watched future Barca wingback is better striker than Lukaku. My man's is Tim's is truly finished. Is what I'm saying. Big up to Go AM as well. Big up to you, Matty. What is it to say, mate? It's not. It's just I'm done. I could probably tell I'm signed off now.
I think we all are, mate. To be quite honest with you, I mean, I just want the season to end now. I just can't be arsed. I could literally dig out every single player today. From that game. I mean, obviously you've seen me in the chat criticize one player. I could do that. I could come up with me and do that, but I just can't be asked. I mean, what you said before was absolutely spot on about our attackers. I mean, our through passes, it wasn't just him, it's just other people. We're just not finding the runs. I mean, Lukaku, if we're going to dig out our attackers, it's a classic, the FA Cup final. Lukaku was making some form of runs, and then we weren't finding the passes forward. I know it's funny, but I mean, it's true. It's just like it. There's just no chemistry. It's just dire. It's just dire football, and it's not Tuchel's fault. It's the players, and that's the problem. We've got players from the Mourinho's time that are still there. We've got Conte's players. We've got flipping. It wouldn't be at all surprised if we've got Benitez is still there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We need to get rid of some of this deadwood, man. I'm glad Bowley's there. Because then, like you said, Jam, it gets rid of all the shit that we've got in, and we don't need it anymore. It's up,
Who goes,
and John Cena.
Out of that forward line, who goes for you?
I'd like to get rid of 3 if I can. Ziyech would be on the list.
Pulisic.
Ziyech would be on the list. Pulisic would be on the list. And Werner. I mean,
come on, Matty. You keep Lukaku.
Lukaku.
I keep Werner. I sell Lukaku. What if I have a gun to my head and I have to pick one of the two?
Yeah, you got a good point. I mean, to be fair, who the problem is who's going to take Lukaku? I mean, if
Inter.
Yeah, but realistically, right? Who? You've got to think about it, right? Unless Conte gets the job at PSG, he ain't going there. So his only hope is Bayern Munich. And do you think Nagelsmann is going to take him? I don't think he will.
They're not going to pay him what we pay him.
But
the thing is, though, are you sure he can't find a home in Italy? Like, you sure there's not one club there that would take him?
Like a Verona or something, innit? Like
who's got the money to take him?
Or one of them clubs?
Well, the thing, I'm sorry, but we just have to pay most of his wages. Like, I would do it. Okay, if the scenario is if we can ship out Lukaku on loan to Italy, we pay like 80% of his wages, but we get a Lewandowski or we get a clinical striker in, do it. It's just the loss on investment that you're gonna take.
I'm afraid though, but we did say the same thing last year. It feels like maybe our system doesn't actually require strikers. Maybe we don't really need a striker. Maybe we need those inside forwards.
Lukaku's just not adapted to the system. It's as simple as that. He's come in to the system expecting us to always play to his strengths. We won the Champions League, bro. Your job, you get paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. You find a way to integrate yourself into this team. And against Leicester, he looked rubbish.
He lied on his CV, and he's one of them ones you said on your CV. Oh yeah,
it's not even just Leicester. It's fucking. I'd say 85% of his games. He's just
for sure.
He just does not suit. I keep saying this. He does not suit what Nick said. He just don't suit our system. When I say this to people get upset and go, "Well, Tuchel should make it work." Why should Tuchel make it work? Why? Tell me. Why should Tuchel change his style of play? Why shouldn't Tuchel be allowed to bring in players that he wants to bring in, and so that fit his system? Why should we build around one player? Why?
Exactly. He's not Ronaldo or anything.
I get this answer, but you spent 100 million, so it's the best for the club. It's not the best for just the club, though, is it? You're not playing to the strengths of the other players that are in the team. You play to Lukaku's strengths. You probably ruin 4 or 5 of your forwards. Forwards' strength. Look, I already spoke about the strengths of the forwards. I think they're all too chalk and cheese. That's why they don't. No chemistry. We have no chemistry with them. Like I've had enough of them. I'm done with most of them. I'm not even joking. Like we need something fresh. We need to let Tuchel pick what he wants. And if it means 2 or 3 of these forwards go, I'm down for that. But if he says I want Dembele and someone else, get him them fucking players. Like
back the manager. We need to. Yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it? But that's why I'm signed off for this game. That's why I wanted to talk about that's why I've done that little breakdown of these forwards, because when people sit on Twitter, the little Twitter trolls, I call them, moaning at Tuchel saying, well, it can't be the players because Tuchel's the manager. And if he can't get the best out of these forwards, then it's got to be him.
But Jem, they always tell you this line, but you lower your standard, If you say,
they're lowering standards for allowing these forwards to be in our team that are inconsistent.
Jem, I saw a Twitter account last night that said that the ball that was paid to play to Christian Pulisic was too quick from Lukaku. Are you freaking are you serious?
Bro, that's something I'd expect to happen. Like if I was in that position, not like a professional footballer, man. That was just horrendous. And it's just we've seen it from Pulisic in recent games. He's just not up to scratch. His hamstrings are made of cheese. He can't establish a consistent run of form. And therefore, he just can't finish.
He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He really couldn't. I'm sorry, he couldn't. If it was Fernando Torres, hold on, let's be real, right? If it was Fernando Torres that missed that effort, like Fernando Torres missed against Man United, he would have got slated, absolutely brutally massacred on social media.
Anyway, that's fair. But I'm just saying, if Pulisic scored that goal, would we be not praising, but giving credit to Lukaku for getting an assist? Because for me, it's that's like true. I think Pulisic should have scored that. Obviously, everyone knew he should have scored that as a tap in. It was like Mount's shitty performance against it in a Carabao. So for me, it's like Lukaku. I'm not gonna sit here and slander him. It's his fault because he should have got assist. Obviously, that should have. But I'm not going to go hard at him because
he had 26
other defenders.
And
Lukaku probably
obviously he was shit. I'm not here to back him, but I'm saying like if he did score, I'm asking the question: if he did score, would he got some leeway towards?
Would it not have also squashed all of the Mason Mount haters then? Because the amount of assists Mount could have had this season, if everyone had took their chances, it'd be the same thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I was putting the question because obviously last season people were talking about Werner. And
Dude,
Werner
this
got
is all
assists. Assists, he was offside. He was offside. But it's like offside goals don't count as real goals.
This is all bullshit because I said to Jem right at the start of the season, if Lukaku doesn't turn up, our 10s have to turn up for us to challenge for the league. I've said that like way before. And guess what? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. They've all got 5 goals in between them, man.
It's fucking embarrassing, mate. It's all embarrassing.
We slated Willian for this, by the way.
I don't know, man. I mean, Lewis, you're here to big up your RL9 guy, yeah?
No. First off, he was poor, but he got robbed of an assist. But typical,
wow.
Absolutely typical. Like what? Are you gonna say he didn't?
He could have got an assist. Is that what we're here to say now? Is that what he was? But is he Timo Werner? He
was poor in the first half. What do you want me to tell you? Like,
because we didn't have the same energy for Werner when he was making assists, and then everyone said it doesn't mean anything. It was here
Werner would also have like 2 big chances missed per game. That's the difference.
Yeah, but he's had chances.
Or he'd have 4 horrific touches. Like, to be honest, Lukaku was not good in the first half. I'll be real with you. Even though, in my opinion, we've had the same issue all season where the midfield's never track this guy's runs when he makes them. He didn't do enough in the first half. Second half, I did see more from him. And again, did get robbed of an assist that would have won us the game. But it is what it is. That whole game was like watching paint dry.
Is that our expectations now of Chelsea football? Is this where our standard?
What this is how low the bar is for our attackers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what pisses me off. Why are we that low? Why are we so down here?
Because this is where our attack has us. We big up the immediate because that's all we can get from these players. So you have to look at it from a game-by-game basis. Lukaku was only good in the second half, but he could have won us the game with that assist if Pulisic didn't have one of the misses of the season. It is what it is. Our team is always capable of missing big chances.
The same thing we could have said about Mason Mount with all the assists that he's made for people and not buried in the same bullshit.
I understand that.
We've created so many chances this season.
We created so many chances that Mason Mount would have never got blamed for that final. It's as simple as that.
To be honest, like the final was a bit unlucky, but there was a few chances he should have buried. This game though, like there's no excuse for that miss.
Oh yeah,
no excuse.
No.
Sit up.
It was open. It was harder to fucking miss. I forget with Chelsea, bro.
Mate, this is what I'm saying to you. No chemistry, no consistency of any of them. I don't care. Honestly, I'm at the point now. Just
wants to win the game.
You know,
so how do we build for next year from here? Right,
we get rid of the core group of players that have been here since 18, 19, 17, 18. I've argued you Gem on Twitter. I've shown the form from the last 19, 20 games for the last 4 seasons. It's the same core group of players that have been dropping these type of points. And if Jem could show it on you, then statistically I've been backed. It's the same core group of players.
So this is 21-22, yeah? This is what played 19 games, yeah? So this is 91. Yep. So where are we there?
This?
No, this is when Tuchel came in. That's how we
when Tuchel came in.
This was last season. No, it goes from season by season,
All right, so
in the filter.
That was last season. That was the season before that. That was the Lampard season, the last 20 games.
34 points, and then...
That was the one after before that, 35. We've not hit above 35 points.
I think
besides that Tuchel season.
Mate, we've only gained 1 point. 1 point, 36.
If we win against Watford, we'd have 36 besides that Tuchel season. Over the last 4 years, I told you it's the same core group of players.
I mean, obviously, you can say it's them, but it's not the 18, 19 players in general. It's just the deadwood. Like I wouldn't. Yeah, I would call Jorginho, Kante deadwood. Not deadwood, but they're just inconsistent players. Like the deadwood is more.
Alonso. How can you not?
I'll be real. We need Jorginho next season, bro.
Yeah, we've stepped up. In the last
Where's this?
Games.
Where's this back in January when I was saying this shit? Yeah,
100%. Because I just deeped it as well. We got a World Cup coming up. And the whole team is going to be absolutely drained in the second half of the season.
Can you explain to me why you want him next season?
Jorginho?
Yeah, explain to me.
Yeah. We have next season is going to be so fucking hard for football players in general with how cramped the fixture list is and the World Cup in December. Now, the second half of the season, everybody is going to be drained. The level of football is going to be dreadful. But Jorginho doesn't have a World Cup, so he has a month of rest. That
But
could be vital.
don't forget, we've also got.
So to me, we have to keep him.
We've also got players like Chalobah, Conor Gallagher, and other players that potentially might not make the squad list.
Exactly, but we have to make the most out of the players that will not be going to World Cup because you will see some horrific football next season.
And there's 5 subs as well, Lewis.
Oh yeah, that will help us too. That will, but I'll be
remember as well.
They don't help us because our squad they're shit. It doesn't matter if
we need to. We can't lose. We can't lose an experienced player like Jorginho in the middle, right? Like as much as we do have our criticisms, rightly so. The thing is, we need depth right now, right? We need someone. We need reliability, and Jorginho can provide that in the second half of the season, as Lewis said, because he'll have a month off to rest and he can command the middle.
Let's be serious. I have not. Look, I'm going to say this now with Jorginho. It's really straightforward for me. We need to get a proper DM. We need to bring a DM in that is going to be allowing us to compete moving forward.
Jorginho, hey guys, how's it going?
But yeah, you're right, bro. Dan, big up to you. But just quickly with the Jorginho thing, the only reason he does stay is purely maybe what Lewis said in the fact that of the accumulation of games and not being in the World Cup. And having that backup as a DM. So if you're going to have...
But like Declared says, he has to sign first.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it out there. If, say, we signed Tchouaméni or Rice, just say, big example, you still need to have backup in that area. So asking them to play 50, 60 games a season is not going to happen. We need to have someone that can come in, maybe not the same level, but at least with Jorginho, he gives you something different in different games. You can use him in different games. If we don't do that, then we've got to buy 2 DMs.
And this is why I say the academy comes in.
And just brought
but no, why would we get an academy player if we know Jorginho can play there? Like again, this is a player who's been playing 38 games.
We have players like Gilmore, Ampadu. We could.
Jorginho doesn't want to be here, right?
Gilmore and Ampadu.
If Jorginho leaves on his own will, that's perfectly fine. But if
no, they're not starting. They're rotating with the main priority signings.
His agent tells you every day he doesn't want to be here.
Yeah,
that's his agent saying.
If we get
that's what I'm saying, but exactly, like if he goes on his own will. But personally, as a team point of view, I will keep him.
He needs to go, man. All this that you're saying, that's cute, that's cool. Yeah, nice. He needs to go.
Okay, who's going to be our second DM next season? Tchouaméni's not going to play 45 games in a season. Who's going to come in as a second DM?
That's wrong.
No, that's bollocks.
Who? Dan, what are you saying? What would you do then in that position?
Well, Tchouaméni isn't coming here, first of all.
So
but
this is
whatever DM we get. I don't know who's coming, but he's not coming.
So just say you don't know because he's likely to be coming.
I don't know who's coming as DM, but a DM for sure. If it's Sangare or whoever because they're obviously looking at cheaper options.
Yeah.
So if one of those guys, cool. I'll take one of those guys. And yeah, I'll use Ampadu, 100%.
Ampadu.
100%.
Who would you?
I use Ampadu. I use Gilmore. I'm not using. Listen, at the end of the day. You guys want me to trust somebody I don't trust that has been here 5 years.
He's only lost 3 Premier League games in his last
I'm okay. It's time to go.
But you trust Ampadu and Gilmore.
Who's in a relegation
the same players that everyone's raving about. What's up with this energy? Okay. You half of the fan base used to rave about Gilmore.
I don't partly disagree with what Dan's saying. I do think Jorginho does need to move on, personally. I do. But at the same time, the only reason I would see that him staying would just be for that added quality of depth.
But that's the same thing that Tuchel was saying about Aspie, right? Or we're losing all our center backs. Maybe Aspie can say, no, Aspie is so bad that I don't need that cover. I don't need you to play a single minute next year. I'm okay. It's okay. It's cool.
Playing well.
The thing about Jorginho is though, we have other holes, we have other problems to worry about more than the middle. We've got to plug up the defense, we've got to plug up the attack, and then you throw in the midfield there. If we can still keep Jorginho, that is a proper asset that we can rely on. Unlike if you chuck in someone like Gilmore or Ampadu, who will have major slip-ups just because they're young and inexperienced. We've got to focus on other priorities like the defense and the attack. What?
Why are they being chucked in? You just said a backup, right? I didn't say Ampadu or Gilmore comes in and starts.
But wouldn't you rather a class the DM to come in?
See, that's where me and you differ. I don't think he's class.
He's the captain of your team.
Not a DM.
Tuchel rates him. Oh yeah, so he's a structural midfielder who sits back.
He's shit.
He's a regista who needs protection from 2-6s.
I wouldn't say shit. He's not shit.
He's not shit. He's not.
Listen,
midfielders in the league.
Listen, I respect you guys. We have different opinions. I don't want to just be on here bashing them. I feel differently, so we can have that as a basis, right? I feel differently, and because I feel differently, I know my team. Whoever we get, if whoever is the backup is going to play a lot of games. I don't want to see Jorginho playing a lot of games. But I want to move on.
Damn,
you want to see
my question to you, Dan,
or Ethan Ampadu play those minutes instead of Jorginho.
What minutes? The starting player plays those minutes. Whoever comes in, Sangare or whoever, they play those.
But the thing is, Jorginho won't be starting if we sign a DM. That's the thing. We have Jorginho as the backup with Tuchemani.
To replace Jorginho, who would you want?
Tuchemani, like realistically.
Bissouma.
Listen. No. Let me be clear because I'm not interested in getting into a conversation of this. I don't think he's talented enough. I don't care. What's more important to me this summer is the people who leave rather than those who come in, because those who stay have been here for so long that if they stay again, they're going to play like they always have, and they're going to give me the same performances I've seen for the last 5 years.
So who do you want out then?
I want them out.
How many people? List them.
11.
You can list them if you want. Those who've been here since Conte's era. Been here since
I do agree with him though. We do need to flash out the deadwood, and there is a lot of them that need to go.
The majority of Chelsea fans.
The issue you have is replacing them all in one summer, and this is why I keep saying it's going to take a period of time to do that. But Alonso's going, Aspie may go, Rudiger and Christensen have gone. That's 4 players gone already, and that's without getting rid of Barkley. Does Ruben Loftus-Cheek stay or not? And that's without the forward line. Does Lukaku stay or go? Werner. So we're going to be forced into having a big summer. If we do have that amount of players going out the door, we are going to be forced to buy players. It's just, are we going to be that aggressive, and or are we going to rely on our academy on parts of it and go, actually, we'll bring some of these back and save their stopgap bank? I don't know. That's the thing.
That sounds the amount of players that
you don't have to solve. You don't have to solve every problem in one summer. That's how we messed up.
That sounds as though it's going to take like 2 or 3 seasons to get to
that
level.
It doesn't.
Jem has completely hit the nail on the head here. He's got the point down to a T. We have such a rebuild. We've just got to rebuild, right? And we just can't do it this summer. We need to keep a couple bodies and just gradually shift the deadwood while we integrate the new signings, because we can't just splash the cash.
Fuck's sake.
Bro, he's gone, man. He's gone. Let him go.
You would sign
Lewis.
I think that's going is your Champions League.
What do you think of the whole, those Christensen reports? How he got the contract, but he didn't get the bonuses and stuff.
I mean, there's the same thing for Rudiger, which is why I'm blaming the board on this, as per usual. The fact that you don't put a signing on bonus and the amount that AC was going to earn was less than his previous contract is an absolute embarrassment, and I'm not surprised he didn't accept the deal.
Lewis, if you like AC that much, you'll let him go, bro.
Well, I don't have a choice, thanks to the board, so I'm gonna fucking have to.
Are you gonna buy a bus?
AC has done a run at the last 2 weeks, man.
And everything that club stands.
Why? What?
Yeah.
That's not nice. Your boy's going there.
What, Matt? You like Barcelona?
I love Barcelona.
Fuck them, man.
Leave the stream, please.
What did you just say?
Hey guys,
at least he's gone to
I was forced to wear as my I like
ain't even my stream.
Listen, Barcelona
apparently it's Lampard's fault that we didn't give Rudiger a contract from August until March. It's his fault that we didn't.
Just blame him.
We didn't give him a contract, right? That was his fault.
I think Lampard has a say on Lampard didn't even have a say on transfers, let alone contracts.
No, I'm being facetious, man.
But I've read so much that Rudiger said that there were still negotiations from August to January of last year.
Yeah.
No,
he said there was no negotiation.
He said they went quiet on him from August.
He said they gave him an offer. They gave him an offer, and then they didn't speak to him till March. Till January this year.
That's a bit of a slap in the face.
Why they gave him like 160.
Listen. All the rumors that you guys heard, right, about him having problems with the team and whatever with the players and his representatives and all that. Yeah, it sounds like they're true, aren't they? Mourinho never liked him, and she was never going to give him a contract, and she wanted him sold. She only kept him because Tuchel made her keep him.
Yeah.
While you're focusing on the wrong people, like it's clear she didn't. How do you not offer a single contract from August till January? You give him one contract, sign it or don't sign it. We're not giving you anything.
Don't forget, he's a Champions League winner as well.
And don't forget as well,
Marie. Somebody, give him a contract. If you've already decided that they're not good enough and you want to sell them, you should have sold them last summer.
Don't forget as well, Marina also said that sources came out saying Marina rates attackers way more than defenders, so they're not treating the same energy. Even though all of our success has come off the back of our defense and not our attack, which is how brain dead this decision has been.
That's not. I agree with that. But my thing is this: it's not even about whether he rates defenders or not, because they're about to give Koundé 180 or 200K. They just gave Chilwell 180, right? So it's not about whether. Is that she doesn't like him. She didn't like his representatives. All the noise that we were hearing previously about him having problems in the board or with the Chelsea team are probably true if they don't offer him a contract for 6 months.
I think there's more to it. And when I say that, I said it earlier on, I think that what Rudiger was asking, you got to look at his signing on fee that Real Madrid are giving him. That is huge. Yeah, let's be serious. That contract package that he's being given by Real Madrid is a big package. Let's not tweet it right now. But what I'm trying to get at is that I think sometimes we have a bit of a short-term memory loss when it comes to these players, because yes, they were very good under Tuchel through a short period, but they wasn't that great prior to Tuchel. But I'm not. What I'm trying to get at, I'm not trying to stick up for the board right now. I'm just trying to understand.
The reason for that, I'm literally
Have they not rushed? Have they not rushed to give that contract because of the number one, how much he's asking for, but the uncertainty of his overall consistency, which is something I bang on about these players all the time. Are they consistent enough?
No, but the reason for that is like you got to look at the way the managers treated them before. Like I'm literally reading Rudiger's post from the Tribune right now, and there's a little quote here that says, "Not even 6 months before that final, I was on the floor at the time. I'd been dropped from the squad, and I couldn't even get a reason why. We had a meeting one day, and the manager told me that we had a deep squad, and he preferred others over me, and that was it."
Yeah.
So no wonder they weren't playing that badly when that's the sort of communication that they had with Lampard.
So okay, so you're.
I've just read that now.
I didn't read that bit. I didn't read the.
If you read the Tribune that he put out today, it's just right there.
Okay.
Jem, if you go back to the season when Lampard came in, I think Rudiger came back of a really bad injury, didn't he? And he missed like the first half of that season, if I'm not mistaken. And then he never really recovered. And then the second season, Lampard.
Yeah.
My question is that if we went out to get Jules Koundé, which was the priority of the summer last year, right? We failed in that because they moved the goalposts.
Yeah.
Why did we not organise another contract for Rudiger? Because if we weren't going to get somebody in, right, we're already saying, okay, Christensen's out the door. Sorry, Lewis, but at the end of the day, that's what they decided it ultimately, right? Then why wasn't there assurances to tell him, look, we can't get Jules Koundé in, so we need to offer Rudiger something, because at least in that way he gives us there's a figure there. We're missing figures. That's the one thing about this squad is we're missing. In the old squads, we had Terry, Lampard, Drogba, and a smattering of others. Rudiger, to me, is the only vocal character in there. And that's what we're missing. We're missing somebody that has that. And that's what we're going to miss when we're bringing in new players. So we need to find an inspirational figure. As much as Silva is a good experienced player, and I'm pretty certain he will do that, we need to get more, because we need to have a player. We need a squad full of voices rather than
Koulibaly. Then, do you think, for example, do you think someone like Koulibaly?
I agree with the premise of what you're saying, but I take offense to you putting Rudiger on the level of those guys you just mentioned. Don't do that again, please.
What do you mean? Koundé is probably on the same level as out of form, Rudiger.
Hang on, I don't know if Matty said. I don't think he's like player wise, but just
no. Even like leadership wise, he's not. He's not a leader like those guys.
I don't think there is.
He's not.
There's no.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it was,
that's urgency.
Even Thiago Silva has failed in leadership in this team. Okay, he should be the one grabbing people by the necks and moving them forward. And I'm yet to see him really do that. So
I disagree.
There is a big. Well,
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
It's proven.
No.
Jim, it's proven in the last 2 months. So it's, I don't
No,
know.
but I'll tell you why you feel like that.
It's not his fault though.
Because when you talk about leadership,
it's his age, right, Matt?
No, but Andrew, I agree with you though. I agree with you, but it's not him. It's not his responsibility. It's the captain's.
Thiago Silva is the leader, but the one
That's
thing
my captain.
The one thing that we miss massively, and why we don't really see it across the pitch, is because we haven't got a spine of leaders. And when you look at the great Chelsea teams, the leaders wasn't just always John Terry. We had Didier Drogba up front. We had Frank Lampard through the middle. We had Peter Cech at the back screaming and shouting. We have one person out of about fucking 25 players that could potentially lead. But you ain't going to be.
What about our captain and vice captain?
But what I'm saying is, it's not. When you talk about leadership, you've got to look at the spine. You can't just look at one player and bringing everyone together and making that like Steven Gerrard style. Like even with him, for example, he still had to have that Alonso behind him, and do you know what I mean? And Huppier or Carragher behind him. Like they had them kind of vocal. We don't have that mentality in there. We have just players.
I'm just going back to the summer business. We can get rid of all these players if we accept what we're offered for them. And if it takes a financial hit, that has to happen. The only problem is we can accept all the offers we want, but if the players then have to agree the wages that we pay them highly for, that they're probably not going to get somewhere else, and that's the problem. They're not going to get exactly what we pay them or near enough. I don't see them moving until they walk away for free, and that's a problem as well. So
that's a problem.
I would say to this board, I would say just accept what you're given for this trash, and then move them on. Essentially, but
Andrew, it's not even that I think some of them are trash. It's not about being trash. Sometimes in teams,
trash.
You need a refresh.
Let me rephrase that. You're trash for
right?
Us. I'll rephrase that.
You need a refresh in teams.
Yeah.
If players have been here 5 years, we haven't won the Premier League. Hey, guys, maybe it's time for us to move on. Just give a refresh, have a new brand of players to help us move forward. It can't be, let's keep him here for another 5 years and hopefully we'll win one. That's not the way,
Barkley's last appearance for the final was in January or February or something like that. I forgot he played. He's still with us. That's what I'm talking about. This we should have those spots available for younger players and academy players so they can learn and build up with this squad. Not people like Ross Barkley. And please, if you're going for a loan signing, do not pay someone over 200 grand like you're doing Saul this season. It's a complete waste of money this season. Complete waste of money, man. You get into the Liverpool midfield, no problem, but you wouldn't get into our one.
Funny.
I try to tell people to look at it this way, right? So in Sarri's season, that was to look at how the rest of our team needs a lot of help. Sarri's season was Hazard's best season, right? Because I hear a lot of, if you put Hazard in this team in front of any of these attackers, we'll do this and that. That was Hazard's best season. Where did we finish?
Third, just about, and only
how many points?
On United slipped up.
73
was it? 73, 76?
It was 72. It was 72.
72,
So just about where we're probably going to finish this year, right? Yeah. Does that show you that Hazard could do it on his own, or any attacker can do it on their own? No, because our midfield and our defense isn't that good. We conceded 39 goals that year with Kepa in goal. We've conceded 32 this year with Mendy in goal.
Daniel, you know what it showed to me? And that's why I will never have any slander against Hazard, the player, that what a cover job he did for this pathetic squad. And now we're suffering it 3 years later. So the way that this board, and I know there's going to be a transition, but get out all of them. Every single one of them.
Bro. What are you even doing here? You're an Arsenal fan. Get out of here, bro.
I don't know, man. Enjoy.
Wenger was a specialist in failure. Go away.
Enjoy Thursday, Sunday football, bitch.
How can you even talk? You can't even make Champions League, Josh. What are you even doing? Just go away.
Josh, your best manager was a specialist in failure. Go away.
Do you know what I mean? Fuck you now. Yeah, look, good
we're refresh bad, bro. We're refresh bad. And a lot of players, I like what Tuchel is saying. It's a rebuild. It's not. It's a rebuild. We just need to get rid of these guys and rebuild our team.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And this is why I keep saying this is what we're waiting to see. What is the meaning of that rebuild? Is it a rebuild structure of being aggressive in one summer, or is it a rebuild structure of three seasons project that Tuchel's going to hang around for and be able to create the monster that he said he was going to do when he first came through the door, when he said, I'm going to create a team that no team, that no football club's going to want to play against at the Bridge. Remember that conversation? Remember that comment that he come out with?
Do you know? I think he might go. I think he might go. I think they might go big this summer to avoid going big in summers after this, and then only do like 1 to 3 players overall to keep it rotating like we used to do. Rotate it 3 or 4 players in or out every summer. Keep it fresh. Keep it rotating. Loanies or whatever. I think there will be maybe one loanee coming in, but that's the thing. We just gotta. I'm pleasant. I'm excited because we're into the unknown at the moment. We don't know what these guys are going to do in terms of do they do a stellar signing or do they just go work with Tuchel, just what he wants. I prefer them to work with Tuchel and get the players they want instead of like trying to bamboozle us with a stellar signing to keep us off their backs or something like that. So
I don't know why I'm bringing these comments up. It's just to Arsenal fan.
I mean, he's got the season wrong because we won the league that season.
He corrected himself.
I just want smarter buys with our money because we tried to go too big after Lampard's first season.
Yeah,
and about 7 of those players don't matter anymore, right? Or 6.
But Dan, doesn't that come down to your board?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's still the same board, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Should you?
It may not be this summer, though.
Is it more important to refresh the board or to get in new players? That's the.
Listen, that's why I said it's more important to let players go who have 1 year left or their contract is up. I'm happy these guys are leaving. Get rid of all the guys in our team, and maybe don't. I wouldn't spend too much in this summer, honestly. Me personally, because I would wait till I would get our defensive reinforcement. That's what we really need. And then you can make signings in January or next summer once the new board has come in and settled things. Because if you give these guys $250 million, what's to say it's not going to end up like 2017 or end up like 2020? 2 seasons, we spent $420 million. There's only 3 players from that.
Because the buy-ins, the people that they bring in have to be of what Tuchel wants. If they do what they have been doing in the past, where they just bring in players on their basis because Tuchel says Haaland and they say Lukaku, which is what literally happened. So that's what Tuchel said, didn't he? He wanted Haaland, but he's gone now. Do you know what I mean? So, like, this is the thing. Back the manager. Give him what he wants. If you don't give him what he wants, how's he meant to do what is required? I don't get it. I don't get this ball. Like, you're saying, you don't want
to know what he wants, bro. It's like understanding how he's played elsewhere.
Change managers with what I'm saying. We're meant to be passing this whole Roman era of getting rid of managers every 2 seasons now. So if we're not going to go down that route anymore under Todd Bowley, why doesn't Todd Bowley drill in Marina's head and the rest of the fucking scouting department's head that they need to change their mindset? And this is where we're going to do things. And this is what you do. No more money pinching. No more fucking buying players with stupid money. This is what you've got to do. And you're going to bring Thomas Tuchel into this, and you're going to speak to him because I want him back. This is simple. I know it sounds really simple, but that is literally it. Like, and if you don't want to be it, let it go.
But here's the thing, Jim. We know Tuchel isn't a scout, right? He doesn't spend all day scouting players and everything. So if they present him something and it looks good, he's going to say yes or he's going to say no, right? For me, for his system, both Haaland and Lukaku don't fit because he doesn't really play with center forwards. Nope. Even at PSG, when Icardi went there and back up scoring 30, 40 goals in Italy, he just didn't play him because it doesn't work. So a board that's smart understands what the coach wants and gets him a player that more so suits what he wants. He wants a goal scorer who can play top. Right. Get him an inside forward or whatever. Say, no, you know what? I know you need a big player to score you goals, but we're not going to get you a striker. Right? We're going to get you this player. I think that's what's going to happen once the board settles in and they start doing what they have to do. That is not going to happen this summer. They're just going to go out and see, Darwin Núñez, you need a striker? Let's go get him.
No, but you could go with something like Nkunku. You know what I mean? Like Nkunku's versatile, for example. Like what I'm saying is you can get them inside forwards that score goals rather than go from the elite Lewandowski, Harry Kane. That's going to cost you God knows how much. You know what I mean? A week. So it just depends.
But Nkunku doesn't like Tuchel. That's number one, and that's also obvious, right? That's also like an obvious thing where it's like, let's go for the newest shiny thing in whatever league. Like we need to do a lot more research. Find players who are 25 on the brink, something like that, who are more experienced than 21 or 22 year olds.
But we were
looking at Kunde for 2 years.
I'm not talking about
Nkunku. He's talking about Nkunku.
The worrying thing about Nkunku is that this season is the season he has, because he had about 30 goal contributions. That's why people are talking about him. So that's the worrying thing. I mean,
to me, he's got Werner vibes. He's got
Same.
Every highlight I see is him running in behind and scoring a goal.
Yep.
I'm like, are there any highlights, anything of him playing, in possession, under tight spaces, any of that? How is he on the ball?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, but him on the ball, he's actually quite good on the ball.
Fair enough. I don't watch
before this season. He was more of a on the ball, spreading it like what Emil Forsberg did for Leipzig when he was injured. So he's got the quality, but again, with the season that he had, his price is going to be extortionately big.
Yeah.
Because there was 32 goal contributions by a midfielder.
Do it again for 2 more seasons coming up. And
consistency.
You know what I mean? Do it that way.
But he is. I do think he's. I mean, look, again, I don't watch enough of him, but when I have watched him, he does look like a player that's versatile. And I keep saying about versatile players coming in and being able to adapt, especially this forward line. They're not versatile. They're very niche in their style of the way they play, and that's why we have no chemistry with any of our forward line, other than maybe Havertz and Mount when they play together.
It's also that maybe the biggest names don't count, but I like that Ryan Kent from Rangers and what he's done in Europa League, the left winger, and what he's done. So I'm not saying starting, but adding someone like that to the squad. He's about 24. What I've seen him do in the Europa League, and in the final he had some good moments as well. But it's just maybe not thinking, what's the obvious? Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I think that's why the scouts are there for. Why weren't our scouts? Why didn't they track Bruno Guimaraes?
Andrew, the only time where you could say our scout actually did the job was around when Eminalo was here. Some of the players that we brought in were actually brilliant. Yeah. And if we kept that core group of players, maybe Mourinho won the league, but maybe he would have had even a better team.
Right now, I think we need more players like when we brought Anelka in from Bolton, when we brought Aspie in, when we brought, you know what I mean? Like when we bring players in on lower wages that we know can already do it in the Premier League. Yeah. In terms of Anelka, right? Like you need a signing like that. And people might kill me for this. You need someone like Bowen. I'll be real. Someone like Rafinha.
Yes.
A Rafinha, a Bowen, where it's like maybe Bowen is not going to be cheap, so maybe a Rafinha is more of a look since Leeds are getting relegated. 25 million, knows the league. You know what I mean? Can produce for you every season. Maybe his ceiling is not, because people love ceilings, right? Oh, this person's ceiling is high. I don't care about ceilings right now. We need players who can perform right now.
Daniel, but we
have enough ceilings.
Declare's put Jovic in the thing, and I'm saying I'm not touching Jovic. He needs a redemption season somewhere else before I even go.
Oh, bro, he's a Morata Werner 2.0.
People saying that he had a season with Frank. He's not the same guy. He's not been the same guy for 2018.
Dembele is an inside forward that creates. Doesn't score.
He's got too many red flags.
There you go.
It's his injuries, isn't it? Really.
Same thing with Rafinha, though. It's the same thing with Rafinha.
Temperament as well.
Racism stuff with the Griezmann. It's his off the field stuff. It's his injuries, and then the audacity of this guy to ask for the wages he has when he's missed more than.
Bro, he wants Mbappe wages, bro.
It's ridiculous, man. I mean,
look, again, that's another higher ceiling buy that our fans love. Oh, he has Dembele's day. We don't need that, guys. Right now, we need players who can give us.
I think he does bring us something personally.
I don't. But Dembele's going to play 15 games in this league.
Technically, right? He's a fantastic player, better than Mbappe in my opinion, technically wise. But when you have a guy that stays up until 4:00 in the morning playing Fortnite. And then
that's Werner for you.
That's what he did. That was one of his big problems at Barcelona. Is that he would stay up all night playing on the PlayStation, and then head to training at around about 11:00 in the morning, and it's meant to start at 9.
I mean, Rams, if you're injured half the time you were at Barca, I would be playing games till 4 a.m. anyway.
Bro, this is when he wasn't injured.
Here's my question for you
when
guys.
he was fully fit, he was still doing this. So I don't.
Here's my question for you guys. He's been injured all his career. Do you expect it to get better at Chelsea? Like, do we have like this great magical medical team that's going to make him okay?
But
so
it's I agree with him. But like, you also want someone like Rafinha, who's also injury prone. You know, so there's
not injury prone.
Rafinha tore an ACL.
Has he been injured?
He tore an ACL.
When?
He was.
When?
That's not being injured. Having one injury is being injured.
Factor. He's torn ACL. Like I'm not saying I don't want Rafinha. I still want Rafinha.
When?
Rafinha ain't an injury-prone person, Matt. Stop doing that.
He's torn ACL. He's torn ACL.
Give me a day. Give me a day.
Okay, hold on, Matt. When did he tear his ACL?
When did he do this?
2020, I think.
I'm having a look.
2020.
Okay, so we're in what?
Just after the
2022.
COVID thing.
We're in 2022. We're going to 2023. He's played the whole season this year. He played last year.
I'm just saying, it's still a factor. Like
it's not a factor.
It's not a factor, man.
It's not a factor because he's played well for Leeds. It's not a factor.
Here you go, guys. This is Rafinha's injury list. Have you seen Dembele's? It's got 4 pages.
I know. I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying the factor.
Let's go for someone less injury prone.
The longest injury he had was in 18-19, unknown injury for 63 days. Other than that, he's had 11 days, 2 days, 7 days, 6 days.
I had an ACL in 2020.
Hey, 2021, 2021, he missed one game. 2021, 2022,
that's not ACL.
Where is the ACL, my brother?
Where did you get his
no, we're all
Right, guys, I'm
discussing
gonna
it.
bounce. Take care, guys.
Lewis.
No,
Big up,
I
Lewis.
know what it
Yo.
is.
Big
I
up
know-
yourself
I know what
on
it is.
Team Coppish and your humility,
Matt is confused.
Me, I'm always humble, man. Come on, bro.
That's
You
what
know
he's misinterpreting.
No, but
Right.
I want Rafinha. I'm not against Rafinha.
Matt, your injury-prone thing is been squashed here, mate. We move on.
I thought he had an ACL back in 2020.
Bro,
This is how
Matt, that's a huge jump.
what Matt just said is how football Twitter
We're all
works.
talking about it in
You create a
January.
narrative,
Matt,
You
Yeah.
wake it up and then you drive it home. Like how
You
did you
drive
just say
that
that?
narrative.
That's what I've been hearing. That's what everyone says about it.
Mark, to
You're
give
gonna
you
have to take that L, brother.
to give you
Well,
perspective,
Matt,
right?
Listen, guys, do you want to have a look at Dembele's injuries? Look
No,
at
no,
that.
no. I've
24 days, 191 days. Look at all this.
Oh, yeah, Gem,
Fred,
I
this
told you
season,
before.
guys, this season he's missed 18 games due to injury. Just this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that clocks to 2.5 years out of his 5-year contract. No,
Whoa,
2 years.
half of his contract he's been getting paid for doing
Yeah.
fuck.
are you guys
Yeah,
not
half
worried
his
that
contract. If you add it up, go to the next page.
Tuchel play Rafinha right wing back?
Right wing back.
Yeah. Tuchel is mental like that. I can see Rafinha play right wing back.
Hey, that's what he did to
25 mil,
Cuckoo. That's why Cuckoo doesn't like him. He said,
No, he'll play him in a 3-4-3 and he'll be one of the
he
three.
played
at the
Cuckoo as a
forefront.
right back. Cuckoo didn't like him, bro.
Wait, Dan, is it true that Cuckoo don't like Tuchel?
No,
Yes. Yes.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that. That's what I was a bit shocked about.
I mean, he's never
He had
been
an
his
interview.
manager.
He said he didn't solidify a place for him. He was playing him as right back. There's a whole interview.
PSG. Yes.
There's a whole interview for it, bro. It's funny. I laughed when I read it, man.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually true. He did manage PSG.
So essentially, Cuckoo.
Matty sent me over blooming Pulisic's injury list. Matty just has to get it in, doesn't he? Can't help it. Look at that. That's quite bad as well, to be fair. But it is what it is. We move.
Yeah, I'm glad I got proved wrong. I still want that boy.
Guys, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I have got you. We are going to do a season review show with panels, not just me, like where we go through ratings. Because we got to talk. We got to do it. We do it every year.
We have to have an overall season review, man. We have to have an overall one.
Disappointment. Actually, I'll do it in a sound.
But yeah, we got to talk about them each individually, give our thoughts on their overall seasons as well. Yeah, look, you just want to come back on, guys. It'll probably be some
What's
point
the
next.
only positive thing you take from this season?
Anyway, let's not talk about it now. Let's save it for that.
Hey,
When's
Andrew.
the next Prem panel show, brother?
Huh?
When's the next Prem panel show, my brother?
Probably tomorrow.
None. I ain't got anything in for tomorrow. It's going to be on Sunday. I'm doing the preview, so probably none at this rate. Ram, we do need to do a Premier League season review, maybe, where we talk about the Premier League.
Yeah,
as well.
and talk about this player of the season right here. He's wearing green right here.
Oh, he won't be, because if he doesn't win the league, you won't get it. Anyway, we're out. Outro. See you later, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back Sunday for the preview. Peace out.
Yeah.